Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times at Willy B, we'll be reviewing Sting. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell!
Welcome back to Fast Times at Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Rosie back. Rosie, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. So we have the honor of checking out Cinemark's second secret movie in the secret movie series.
Wasn't really secret.
No.
You always guess it.
Well, this one, the clues were new release, something about eight-legged creatures, and had the exact same runtime as Sting. So not really...
They shouldn't give any hints.
I think giving...
Except for what it's rated in the runtime, maybe.
I think giving it a hint like the eight-legged things is good.
New release kind of gave it away.
Yeah.
Because they have posters all over Cinemark about it.
What else is it going to be? But we got to see Sting 3 weeks early. I believe April 12th is the release date. So not a lot of people out there reviewing this film yet.
Not much. And there wasn't many people in the theater either. But
yeah, if you
I think some people are intimidated by the secret. Especially if they're not avid moviegoers like you are. You're not going to really know what it's about. But
our first secret movie experience was Lisa Frankenstein, and it had a decent turnout. This one was, we were like 2 of 5.
Yeah, there was definitely very few people there.
But nonetheless, we got a sneak preview at Sting, this horror spider movie. Anyone that knows me knows I hate spiders.
Yeah.
You know better than anybody else that I hate
spiders. I
spiders.
definitely do.
Directed by Kaya Roche Turner, a name I'm not really familiar with. A cast I'm not really familiar with. The top 3 would be Ryan Corey, who played our dad figure, Ethan. Lila Brown, she played Charlotte, the daughter who is the owner of the said spider. Mm-hmm. And then Penelope Mitchell, she plays the mother, Heather. And then, there's an aunt, a grandma, Frank, and this list of characters.
Right.
This is a bottle movie. Takes place in the same apartment building, so it really doesn't leave the apartment building outside of maybe the front stoop.
Right.
When Frank's trying to buzz in.
Yeah.
So, for the most part, you're hanging out in this apartment complex.
Well, you do get to go to space for a minute.
For a minute, yeah. But for the entire runtime, you're either in an apartment, or you're in the hallway, or you're in the vents. Mm-hmm. That's where this film takes place. But let's hop into the good. First, for me, in the good, I want to give a shout out to Lila Brown. She played Charlotte. I thought she was the standout. I didn't think the acting was great by any means across the board, but she stuck out, and I don't think that her character was written very well, but with what she was given, I thought she did a great job.
Yeah. If you watch any of our other reviews you do with me, I always give a round of applause to any child actor. Mm-hmm. And she would be in the list of decent child actors. She really good emotion.
For sure.
Towards the end, when the climax really is going on, she was like the pure terror in her face after realizing, and she played a lot of different roles. Like, she was kind of mischievous in the beginning, and then she was, the typical preteen daughter with the attitude, and then, she had a lot of different...
Then she becomes Rainbow, basically.
Yeah.
So
she had a lot of different characters.
All over the place. But I thought Lila Brown was great. Continuing with the good, there's not a lot of good with this film.
Yeah. I don't know.
I thought Frank was great. Not really the acting, because it's just a funny character, but I thought his comedic timing, the comedic timing was good. Honestly, if I'm Frank, I'm not coming back the second time, but he chose to, and to his demise. Yeah. But anytime he was on the screen, that's when you got your few laughs in.
Yeah, I agree. He was definitely great. I don't know. What else do you have when you're good?
I guess some of the practical effects were done well. I would say the blood was done really well.
Yeah.
Anytime there was blood splatter, blood pour, a puddle of blood, it looked real. Mm-hmm. They did really good with the practical effects. But that is about where it ends for me in the good.
Did you like the web?
The web was gross looking.
Yeah.
But it did look good.
I think so too.
That kind of plays into the practical
That's
effects.
That's why I was asking.
Sure. Yeah. Most of the practical effects I think were done really well.
Yeah. I would agree. I didn't know what to expect. Like, even like in the fella upstairs, Eric, like his whole like apartment, like the ambiance was kind of cool.
Yeah, I'll give set design.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off track.
No, you're good. I'll give set design
that
a little nod.
That was part of my good.
Yeah, I'll give set design a little nod in the good. Definitely like most of how the apartments were set up was good. You know, they all had their unique touch depending on who lived in them.
Right.
Eric's was really cool because it was just that like scientist vibe,
lab feeling,
and he was trying to become this biologist, and so it was kind of cool, like jumping between we got to see 4 apartments.
4, I believe, yeah.
We got to see the aunt and the grandmas, the families,
yes,
Eric's, and then what was her name, Maria or something like that.
Yeah, the lady. I would like to know more. Yeah, I would like to know more backstory on her situation.
We find out that she lost her whole family, but we never really found out why.
Right.
But yeah, each of the apartments were unique, done well. All of the hallways looked the same. But there were some flaws with the apartments, and I'll get into that. But for the good, do you have anything else?
I was just going to mention, going back to the practical effects, what was it? The bird of some sort the aunt and grandmother had.
Yeah.
I think that was really well done. It wasn't too like overdone. You know, didn't look like fake. I guess I don't know. I don't know what a dead bird.
A skinned bird.
Yeah, but I would imagine that's pretty much what it would look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That would probably be about it, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we'll hop over to the meh. For the meh, 2 that tie in together, I would say I'd put the overall story here and the characters here.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the characters were very likable. They all had their demons, and the demons outshined any other part of them, you know. The mom begins villainizing Ethan.
Right.
Ethan starts becoming the villain that she's turning him into as the stepdad. Charlotte, you know, has her moments. Aunt Helga is horrible. Like, outside of Frank and Grandma, who has dementia and really doesn't know where she's at.
Helga wasn't the aunt. That was Grandma's name.
Oh, Helga was the grandma.
Yeah.
Aunt Gunther or whatever.
Yeah.
Outside of Grandma and Frank, though, all of these characters, you're like, Eric, like, even Eric, you're like, the spider gets them, I don't think I'd really care.
Yeah. I would agree. I feel the runtime was short.
Yeah, it was quick, 9-minute film.
We didn't get a lot of backstory or a little bit, but not too much to get to learn the characters. So I think that might be a part of it. But I think if we had a little bit more time, we could have, you know, got to a little bit more feeling from some certain people. I feel, I guess they were all kind of the main characters. There wasn't very big cast at all.
Charlotte and Ethan would be the top 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just, you know, they try to pack in a lot of information and a lot of character arc, but they didn't really develop it, and it didn't really have an ending. So it kind of fell flat for me.
Yeah.
I could kind of gather some of it, which is why I put it in the man, not the bad. But at the end of the day, the characters weren't very likable. And then the story just felt like it was all over the place, and I guess that's also part of pacing. Kind of a quick start, you know, we get this alien spider that is a meteor. The meteor looked bad, by the way. But it shoots through the window, and once we get the spider, you know, we learn about Charlotte, and then we learn about the family a little bit. But then, you know, that's kind of well-paced. And in the middle, it's just the same thing over and over and over. There's even like a 15-minute period where Eric's just feeding the spider different animals.
Right. Yeah.
And so it just got a little repetitive there for a minute. And like, I'm like, if you rework that in a different way, maybe the pacing's better and the story, and you can make these character arcs better. I don't know. There was just a lot that could have been changed with the writing. But I don't think it was bad. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Definitely.
Continuing with the I would put the mothball logic here. I think it was a really cool idea to make the mothball, because spiders don't like mothballs. I did have to look that up.
Yeah.
After the movie, but it is a fact.
Yeah, that's why people keep them in their closets.
But they wouldn't rinse off that quick. Have you ever had a mothball anywhere? Or
my grandparents had them in their closets, but I was always told that they were toxic and dangerous, and I was never supposed to touch them. So,
well, the sprinklers fall on them, and they say the mothball is washing off. One, I don't think water would wash it off that quickly. Two, I looked this up. Mothballs last 3 to 6 months. So I don't think.
Well, if you crush it,
I know, but I don't think the spraying of water would just completely eliminate you pouring mothball water on yourself.
Yeah.
So the logic there fell a little flat for me, but I did think it was cool that was what they used.
It's the repellent.
The repellent, yeah. So again, that's why I put it in the I think they fell a little flat in the logic, but it was a unique idea, a twist that I thought was like, okay, I can get behind that.
I would. I want to add one thing to the while we're talking about the spider.
Yeah.
Maybe even good. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But I like that Ethan is like the building manager, and a few times we see him going downstairs to fix the trash compactor or the heater or whatever.
Yeah.
And I like that in the one scene he's like playing with the trash compactor. He can't get it to work, and he doesn't know why, and he gets real frustrated. And then towards the end, when they're going to kill the spider, he finally realizes that it just needs plugged in.
Yeah.
And then that is how he killed a spider.
Yeah.
Was with the trash compactor.
Yeah, that
so
was
I
cool.
don't know. It was kind of like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Yep. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, that was good. For sure. That was one of the, I guess, story arcs that ended up connecting.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they kind of fell in this mad category for me. Another thing in the I put the snowstorm here. Didn't really do anything for the story. I mean, it added to the aesthetic, I guess.
Well, I don't know, because it was like thunderstorming.
That was like a blizzard.
I know, but like if you look back, like there was like lightning and stuff like flashing in the windows. Yeah. In like, I don't know, in Brooklyn in the winter, I don't think it's going to be lightning outside. But
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It was weird because it was a cool aesthetic, like, okay, you're kind of trapped in this apartment, but
yeah, maybe that's why they did it.
Nobody that lived in the apartment ever went outside to see it for themselves. So it's hard to put it anywhere outside of the map.
That's true. We just got Frank out there struggling.
Frank's the only one he got, he's like, oh,
it's freezing out here.
But yeah, that would fall in the map for me too. Just kind of a weird add-in, I guess.
Yeah.
That didn't push too much into the story.
Right.
But is there anything you have to add in the meh?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
I think we got it all.
So we'll hop over to the bad.
Sure.
I'll start with a nitpick. Anytime she posted on Instagram, it made a Twitter sound.
Yeah, I noticed that, and it was like after it post.
Yeah. You gotta get that. That's like step one, get that right.
Yeah, because usually it's not even Twitter anymore, but usually it doesn't even make that sound. It makes it when you... I don't even know. I haven't Twittered in so long. Like right when you post it like she did, but I don't know. I did notice that. I was like, am I going crazy or what's happening? So
that was a nitpick. Another bad for me, I don't think this movie was very scary.
No, what was it rated R?
I think it was PG-13.
Oh, okay. But, I did hear people in the theater even say that.
The rating has nothing to do with the scare factor.
Well, no.
The rating could be because there's 2 F words, it's rated R, but it's not scary at all.
That's true.
I just was expecting more from the scare factor, I guess.
Yeah.
And I think that played a little bit into the movie being a little bit boring.
I would call it even though not really, I would call it more of a thriller.
Yeah.
Because like it kind of does have like the anticipation, and to me that is what would be a thriller. I even heard some of the ladies in the theater mention about the rating, and I was like, well.
Yeah, it wasn't very scary at all. No jump scares, really, which is kind of surprising. I feel like when you're doing a movie like this, you've got to go all in. You've got to be balls to the wall, pump up the gore factor, add some jump scares, because that's kind of what's going to draw people to this movie. It's not I don't think people are seeing the Sting poster and like, oh, that's something I've got to go see in theaters.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. The poster at Cinemark does not do anything for me.
It reminds me of
at all.
Strays.
Yeah, because the poor dog is in it, and I understand the dog is one of the victims, but like.
Actually, the dog actually lives.
Oh, he does at the end. You
Yeah.
see him or her, whatever his name, Bonnie, I think.
Yeah.
But to me, that wasn't a main thing of the movie.
No.
So, and you don't even meet
like
the dog
poster.
until.
I wish they would put up the poster. The movie poster that I saw was Charlotte laying in bed with the spider on the ceiling, like in its big form.
Okay, that would be
would've been
much better.
cool.
Yeah.
That adds a little bit of an element, like, oh, look how big that spider is. But
Yeah.
I get at the same time, just doing a leg that big.
Right.
I don't know. The poster in Cinemark didn't do it for me. I don't think it's going to do it for very many people. And if people are getting this early screening and then sharing reviews like we are that says this movie's not scary, I don't know how well this movie's going to do. Because that's what I mean by if you're doing a movie like this, you've got to go all in.
Yeah.
Just throw in some jump scares. People are expecting campy jump scares.
Mm-hmm.
And up the gore factor. It had a good amount of blood, but really only one human experience. We experienced two, Frank and Eric, or not Eric.
No.
Maria. I think her name's Maria, the downstairs neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Those were really the only two gore factors.
Yeah, that was really well done, I thought. But
I don't know. I think you gotta amp it up a level.
Yeah.
When we're doing a movie like this that is not unique, but I'm not saying it copied things, but it definitely is pulling from different things.
Yeah.
Spiders have been done before. I will say this isn't the worst spider movie of the year. You didn't see Madam Web, but
I did not. I heard
so it's got that going for
right.
it. It's the best spider movie of 2024 so far.
You mentioned pulling from other movies. I kind of don't know how to feel that the daughter's name is Charlotte.
Yeah.
And we got a spider movie because it's kind of given Charlotte's Web.
That was definitely homage.
Definitely homage. Which I kind of think is okay.
They're not saying this is a Charlotte's Web horror movie.
No, I'm really glad they didn't because when you told me about it. No. When you told me about it, I was like, oh God, this is going to be like when he blew Blood and Honey. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a horror Charlotte's Web. What movie I hate because I hate how sad it is. Charlotte's Web, that is. Yeah. Because the pig is just, I don't know. So to me, it wasn't clashing. So I'm kind of glad they used her name.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they didn't take it to the extreme. I think it was definitely just an homage, which I'm happy about.
Yeah. Continuing with the bad, I put the vents here. Why are they so big? And why are there no screws in any of the vent, I don't know.
It's part of the storyline.
No, I know, but
it's a movie. That's what I always say.
This apartment's not up to code.
No, definitely not.
You got Charlotte crawling through them like it's nothing, but...
Well, it'd be like the ones on our floor. They don't, but ours aren't. Like the one downstairs.
I'm not fitting in that.
Oh, no. I think it was just because,
that spider was enormous.
Yeah.
And it lived throughout the fence. It was pulling Frank and Ethan through the vents.
So I unfortunately don't have an answer, but it is one of those things where you ask a question and the answer is it's a movie. Unfortunately, that is the answer I have to give because usually vents are like a square, not big enough for... Like you see in movies with, kids crawling through the vents, but, you usually see them and it's, they're squeezing through them.
Yeah.
There was definitely plenty of room. She almost stood up at one point.
Yeah.
She was going... Yeah.
These vents were almost borderline just tunnels.
I really do... Yeah, and,
how big was this apartment building?
Yeah, I'd love to know. We never did get an outside view of it.
No.
Just from the street.
Just the stoop, yeah.
So I really wish there was... I don't know, something else I could say about the vents other than it's a movie. And that's just how sometimes movies go.
For me, continuing with the bad, I'd put some of the CGI here. For the most part, you can tell that the spider is a puppet or practical. But there are some scenes when it's running that you can tell that it's CGI. Also, the meteor was easily the worst CGI.
Yeah.
The opening shot that we get from it flying in from space into the apartment window. Not a lot of CGI used. I almost wish they just didn't use it at all, because when they leaned on it, it wasn't done very well.
I also would like to mention the meteor at the very end. I really, 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 really hope they do not make a Sting 2, because I will cry. Because, I don't know. It just ended in such a way where there could be, down the line, a Sting 2. Or you know what I mean?
I don't know if this one will do well enough.
No, I don't think so.
Get enough of a backing.
But the ending was just...
to...
But you don't see anything come out of it.
A second film.
You don't see anything come out of it, though.
No.
So, but the ending was in such a way that it could... But worse movies have done 7, 8, 9, 10 movies in a row.
Yeah.
So, anything can happen.
Yeah.
That's what I gotta say.
I mean, if this gets a cult following, I guess maybe. But final bad for me is the comic book storyline. I won't say it copied Imaginary, because they came out literally, well, I guess a month apart, but in our viewings, 2 weeks apart. And so, how would they know? But seeing that story done again in back-to-back weeks kind of hurt Sting for me, but it also didn't fit as well in this movie, because you have this daughter writing the comic books, the stepdad's drawing them, but the company's taking them away from the dad. Does the stepdaughter have no rights to her work? I don't know. It just didn't fit for me, because the legality of it wasn't all connected for me.
Yeah.
Whereas in Imaginary, it was just the stepmom,
Right. So I think that it was set in Brooklyn. Usually there are very artsy folk that live in New York. And I think No. I'm just saying that I think that maybe that was the idea. They live in Brooklyn, in a big city, in, I would say, a very high percentage of the population in New York City is very artsy and draw and do all these things. Do I think it added anything to the story?
Just tension.
Tension between the father figure, Ethan, and Charlotte. But the mom also was an artist or something.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe we could have done... maybe even still the same thing, but not have the back and forth between Ethan and Charlotte. And maybe we could have saved some time.
Well, my big thing is the comic book literally says written by Charlotte, whatever, illustrated by Ethan, whatever.
Right.
But the company calls Ethan and says, we're going to go in a different direction and have somebody else do it. And that's where I'm like, does Charlotte have no say in this? Does she have no rights? If it's created by her, these are her characters. She owns the copyright. I don't know. I guess I'm digging too deep into something that's in a 90-minute movie, but it's just, again, it goes into the poor character development, the poor story arc, and
we could have used some of that time somewhere else.
Yeah, so
without,
I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it this time around.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't very trivial to, in Imaginary, that was definitely
I don't think Imaginary was that great, but it was the comic book side of things was done better, I thought.
I believe in Imaginary it was more part of the story.
Yeah.
Than here, unfortunately. I think it was just, I don't even know how they came up with it, but I think it was just something to say and some time filler and, the American dream living in Brooklyn, I guess. Yeah. Everyone wants to make it big, I guess, in some facet.
You have anything else you'd like to add in the bad?
I do not.
Okay. We'll hop over
maybe.
What you got?
The beginning, how Helga started, the grandmother.
Oh, how we had we were seeing.
Yeah, I hate that.
we were seeing a scene and then all of a sudden it says 4 days earlier. You didn't like that.
You know I hate that.
Okay.
I love when a movie
It didn't bother me.
I don't know. Well, to me, in my tiny pea brain, it just makes sense to, like, start the movie right away.
See,
instead of I know it, like, gives a little bit more anticipation and etc.
It was good for Helga's storyline. Because you
see that she has dementia.
Yeah.
Right.
You get to figure out how she got to that phone call. Mm-hmm. But it sucked because you knew what was going to happen to Frank.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right. For sure.
But,
yeah.
I get what you mean. But I wouldn't classify that in the bad myself. It didn't bother me one way or the other.
I think I was sitting there probably, like, with my little squinty eyes trying to put all the pieces together. But that's just me. I'm particular. I like to nitpick on things that are unnecessary.
We'll hop over to our final thoughts and ratings. What would you like to leave off with Sting? And what are you giving it out of 10?
I'm going to leave off with saying 2024 has been not the greatest year so far. We are 3 months in, and I have yet to love a movie, but I probably won't love anything until September.
You didn't love Lisa Frankenstein?
No, I liked Lisa Frankenstein.
Okay.
I would rewatch that anytime. Yes.
You also didn't see Dune Part 2, but
I did not. No.
I'm
saying on the movies I've seen and the movies I reviewed with you. I think you liked it more than I did.
Okay.
But I'm saying the movies that me and you have sat here and reviewed. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I think 2024 has going for them is the use of child actors. Yeah. And I think they have all been well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say good or bad, but I think they, it's been the year for child actors. I think they're all doing a pretty killer job, and you got to start somewhere. Yeah. Even if it's just random.
And horror, too.
Oh, yes, horror's been a great year.
Well, no. The horror movies have been bad, but the child actors have usually been the bright spot, I mean.
They really have. I think it's just because they're new to the scene, and the passion is fresh. Yeah. So I'm hoping that continues as the year goes on. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see what else comes out. I know you know the whole year and what we're seeing. I think you're just
ready for Beetlejuice.
I am.
After we got the trailer.
I don't even... Oh, my gosh. I don't even care what else we watch this year.
There's some good things.
Yeah. You know, I don't know. I know what I'm seeing the week of, so that's fine. Yeah. I like it a surprise.
Yeah.
But I do think I am... We talked about it on the way home. I think I'm going to give Sting a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10?
4 out of 10.
Like I said, it's not the worst Spider movie of the year. Madam Web takes the cake, and we'll hold on to that for at least one more week.
Okay.
Actually, for probably the rest of the year. I don't know if there's any more Spider movies coming out. But,
yeah, probably not.
For me, I'm landing on a 4 out of 10 as well. It was just bad. It was a rough movie.
Yeah.
There were some bright spots. Mm-hmm. There were some takeaways that were good, but for a movie like this, I think the biggest thing that I said was you've got to go all in. If you're making a movie like this, you've got to up the scare factor, up the gore factor maybe. Mm-hmm. It just kind of fell flat. It was an unfortunate flop for me.
Yeah, I think it could have been good. Time could have been allocated in different ways.
Yeah.
Characters could have been
written differently. We could have had a little bit more story in between here and there, between the characters even. Yeah, I think 4 would be a first time we agree on something. Yeah.
We never agree on anything. Either I love it or you love it and I hate it.
Yeah.
But
that'll do it for Sting. Thank you, Rosie, for coming on. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links down below. Thank you again for watching, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.
Peace and love.